Hello, welcome back to another episode of Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. I'm Deshae, the oldest sibling.
Sage, the middle sibling.
And I'm Storm, the youngest sibling.
I thought you were going to forget the name of the podcast, Deshae.
You said hello.
Well, I was like, I was waiting for it to like freeze me or freeze you guys or something because just,
I have to update everything on my computer. So hopefully, like, if it was me that was messing it up, hopefully it's not going to mess up anymore.
Well, I update, when it tells me to, but I also have like, our work stuff open up here. So it could be that.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is.
Bunch of stuff running in the background.
Yeah.
I don't have Netflix up right now.
Listen, you've gotten this far.
Exactly.
73, 77, something.
70.
Yeah. Better than expect excellence from us.
Listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can, okay? With what we have.
We are busy, individual, and, we try our best.
Yes. That's right.
It's honestly, I think at this point, it's really just an excuse for us to get together every week.
Well, literally, that's one reason why I would never want to stop this, because we,
right. Yeah.
We get to have this sibling time.
Yeah.
We plan for a time, and then maybe 30 to 45 minutes later, we're like, okay, do you want to start now?
Exactly. Yes.
And then we complain when we're done about how tired we are. We're like,
I know.
It's so late.
People don't realize we have had a full 30 to 45 minute conversation before we even start recording.
Yeah.
And then we still have more bullshit to talk about.
Yeah.
So
but the stuff we talk about before, we can't really share with you. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's private.
Yeah. I mean, we could, but then we'd probably have a lot of people. We probably have a lot of people coming to find us. And
that's true.
We'd be in trouble.
They'd be like, here's the phone number to my therapist.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like,
I don't know why this made me think of this, but we were eating dinner, and Richard wanted to give the dogs some broccoli, but he wanted to make sure that broccoli was a safe food for dogs. So he Googled can dogs eat broccoli? And it said yes, that broccoli is really good for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I want to know all the foods that are bad for dogs. So he literally Googles foods bad for dogs. And then he starts laughing, and I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm going to tell you what's on this list. He goes, what do you think's number one? And Stinky goes, chocolate. And he goes, yeah. He goes, what do you think's number two? And I was like, I don't know, chocolate adjacent. And he goes, rat poison. He was like, that's good for anybody to eat. And then he was like, and then number 3 is grapes and raisins. He's like, number 4 is antifreeze. Number 5 is household cleaner. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
We asked what food is bad for dogs, not what's bad for anybody to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You can never trust the internet. I am horrible about watching a TikTok and not doing any research on it and then telling it like it's a fact. I do it all the time.
I do it. I always go, I heard this from TikTok, so take it with a grain of salt.
See, I do that now because my mentor at one point, I said something ridiculous, and he looks at me, he goes, where'd you hear that from? And I was like, I read it somewhere. And he goes, no, where did you hear that from? And I was like, I saw it on TikTok. And he was like, you should probably vet those a little. And I was like, you're right. But the internet has not failed me recently. So
yeah. Maybe
I learned
20 minutes ago, but
so much shit on TikTok, y'all. I learned so much stuff.
Yeah.
So much.
Yes. I'm taking so many supplements
because I'll be thinking about something.
Yeah.
Thinking about a certain food, and it will start showing me recipes for it, and I'm like, how? First of all, I don't really care.
So weird.
Because I still want to see the recipe. But how are you getting this information is really the question.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because even at work, one of the girls came in and she asked me a question about this number, like, because to bill, you have to have certain numbers for certain insurances. And she goes, what insurance does this number go to? I was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, let me see if I can look it up. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? Let me Google it. And so I literally started typing, what payer ID goes with this, or what insurance company goes with payer ID. And then I type one number and it pulls up the rest of the number, like the exact number. And I was like, shut up. I was like, that is so weird. I hate it. It's here. Crazy. Let me leave.
Yeah.
It's because we all rely on it now too. And we're like, this is so inconvenient if it doesn't happen. But then we don't think about how really, truly weird it is.
It's crazy. It's always so listening. AI scares the poop out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's scary.
It's crazy.
And it makes me think of that. Do what?
Go ahead. I've been loving the
yes. Off.
No. Yes.
Fucking lag.
Okay. Beavis and Butthead. Continue. Are you talking about the Ryan Gosling or whatever?
Yes.
Yes.
So funny. Oh my gosh.
They're like at the Met Gala and they're like, I don't know who is Beavis and Butthead. Like, I don't know. And one lady was like, you still haven't looked that up. You still haven't Googled it.
I'm sure Google would know that you're going to look it up by this point.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I do. That is so funny. That was hilarious. And then it's funny. I love when they can't control their laughter.
Yes.
So it's funny when they're laughing at themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So funny. That's why I love when Medea used to do that, like with her live.
Oh my god.
I blame you for that, Deshae.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yes. You and Megan used to watch them all the time, the plays, and I was like, "This is so stupid." And then I finally sat down and watched one of them, and I was like, "I get it."
They're so good because number one, he's hilarious and just owns that character. But the plays are really good. Like they have some really good, like I don't know, lessons.
There you go.
I like the one where they're talking about like. Or she's trying, I don't know what she's trying to explain. I forgot in the movie exactly. I just know she's trying to like get across to this little girl something about God. And she's like explaining it. And she's talking about Eve and her little like tattoos that she's got on her shoulders or something.
Oh, the paw prints.
Anyway, I don't know, but I just remember laughing my ass off about it.
And she always quotes the Bible, but it's so wrong.
So wrong.
She's like talking about like Jonah and the whale and Noah's Ark, like all mixed together. Like it's just it's so good. It's so good. Because there is absolutely that grandma out there that like she wants you to be that like good Christian person, and she'll tell you these stories, but they are not the Bible stories. Like they're completely wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny. She's hilarious.
I heard somewhere, I don't know where, probably TikTok, that he was going to bring her back to do one more movie.
Well,
really?
when did they come out with the Boo? Because I think they did like Boo 2, not 2.
Oh yeah, those. Because I just watched those this last fall. I don't know when he did those, but the second one's good.
I like the plays better than the
plays.
The plays
are so.
I feel like
yeah. Matt and I went and saw him one time, and
like stand up.
No, like at a Medea play.
Oh hell yeah!
Like years ago when we first got together.
From a radio
He
station?
did. He won them on the radio. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I always like the plays better than the movies, but there is one part in the movie. I don't remember any character's name, but Lil Bow Wow, his name was Byron.
Yes.
And his girlfriend would go, Byron.
Oh my god.
And I worked with this guy named Byron, and I would say his name like that all the time, and I never said like where it was from or anything. And he would always ask me, he's like, why do you do, like, why are you saying my name like that? And I was like, I don't know, dude, it just sounds right. And like finally he came to work one day and he was like, so I figured out where the fuck you got that from. And I was like, it took you that long to do. All right.
You literally type into Google, Byron.
Exactly. Yeah. So good.
I worked with this lady named Terry. And so I'd always sit there and I'd be like, Terry, back it up, Terry. And she'd always be like, what? Or like, just like randomly, I'd be like, Terry, come here, Terry. And then she'd be like, she always look at me like I'm crazy. And then I'm like, do you have no idea what that's from? And she's like, no, I just think that you're yelling at me. So finally I made her watch the video and she didn't think it was funny. But she was like, oh, okay, now I get it. And I'm like, why are you not laughing? It's the funniest video of all time.
The quotes that I always say out loud and with the most gusto are the ones that nobody ever knows what I'm talking about.
Always.
What is it? Zach and Mary Make a Porno. Do you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the couple at the end where he's talking about like saggy titties or something to his wife, and she's like, motherfucker, we match. The other day in the shop, someone said something to me, and I look at her straight in the face and I go, motherfucker, we match. And Jeremiah looks at me and he goes, you cannot say that to a client. And I was like, he thought I was like being mean, and I was like,
trying to
no,
beef up, you know?
Exactly. So it's, I guess I have to be careful about, yeah, I have to be careful about how hard I say those quotes. It's pretty good. Oh,
Lord. It's bad.
We have frozen like 10 times. So
it's insane. And you know, it's so silly because it's always your story that we freeze, even if you're not talking. Because me and Sage have not shut up this whole time.
Right.
I know, that's why I'm
the one that keeps freezing.
I know, that's why I'm like, because YouTube will freeze, and I guess that's when I'm freezing. Yeah. So that's why I'm like trying to just chill, be quiet. But
have you tried?
I gotta tell y'all a story.
Have you tried just not? And as she freezes, God.
I think it's all when we try and talk over each other.
Have you tried just not?
Yeah.
I mean, we can just chat. I don't have to tell a story.
I think that's what like half of our listeners are just like here to hear us talk, and then some of them are like actually in the truth. They're like, can you get to the story? And some of us are like,
yeah,
they're like
keep talking,
pressing that 15-second skip 800 times to get to the story.
There was one time, I don't remember what episode it was, but my mentors, they listen to it like when they drive into the shop, and they came in one day and they were like, Sage, we have been in the car for 40 minutes. You haven't started the story yet. And I was like, I don't know what the problem is.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Exactly.
So
You're welcome.
Like, well, obviously you didn't start it at the right time. You should have started it 30 minutes before you left.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Oh God.
See, just did it again.
Stop it, Deshae.
It's so often now. Like,
I wonder if we're freezing on her end too.
Yeah,
you are.
Okay.
Can you not hear me?
It's scaring me.
It's like Poltergeist. You know the girl that like talks through the TV? Yeah. She like keeps like coming in and coming out, and that's what it's like.
No, like the two of you will freeze, and then I'm just like, so that's when I just stop, you know, kind of chill. You're doing it now.
I feel like we have like a ghost or something, and it's playing a prank on us right now.
It's gotta be.
See, yeah, we don't.
Yeah, because y'all will freeze, and then I just kind of wait for a second or two until y'all come back.
And yet we don't freeze to each other, which is the weird part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There we go.
It's literally happening like every couple seconds now.
Yes,
what the fuck?
Afraid.
Like, I don't even know. No, literally, I mean, I have our system open that we use, but it's really, and I have our email open, but other than that, I mean, but I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have like any kind of nothing.
She doesn't have anything.
She doesn't have. She just doesn't have. Listen, she just doesn't.
It's how Gen X talks now. That's Gen X, right? The new one. The new one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Aren't I a millennial?
Yes. I think we're all millennials.
I think you might possibly not be Deshae. Hold on. Let me look it up because I'm...
Let me just Google it. I saw this thing and it was apparently there's a thing called a millennial pause. And I have noticed that we all do it. Like for TikToks and stuff, like before they start a video, there's like a half a second to a second pause. And if you're in your 30s or like 40s, like it always happens. So like you start the video and then there's a pause and then you start talking. And now there's the Gen X shake. So like when they start the video, they're like holding the video and they like set it down on something and it always has like that shaky. So when you watch TikTok now, you'll start to recognize it and you'll start to be like,
sounds gonna bug
millennial.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Millennial.
Yeah.
Millennials were born between 1981 and 1996.
So yeah, we're all.
So Jess, we're all millennials.
Okay.
Do you want to try and tell a story? Not that old.
I mean, just a little bit.
I will literally be 40 in a year and a half.
Oh my god!
If my allergies are still this bad in like a week, I'm going to look like I'm like 40 something. It's bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at my eye bags.
Have you noticed that when one of us starts talking about something, we all do it?
Yes.
Like one of us starts talking about our nose, and we all reach for our nose and start looking at them.
What is it? Is that what is it? That thing that we were talking about the other day over text? Oh, you're like somebody tells you something, and then you like you make it about you, but not intentional.
Neurodivergent. Yeah.
Yes.
So, people that are neurodivergent, apparently it's like when you're trying to have conversations, what they do is they try and relate themselves to what you're saying by telling a story similar to it. So a lot of people think that we're like narcissistic or we're just like everything's about you, but it's not. It's just our way of like trying to relate to that person. And I've been told before, we
understand how you feel.
I've been told before, like, it's not all about you. And that's when it started to like stick in my head. Like it was a joke, obviously, but it was started to stick in my head like, oh, I actually do that. So sometimes if I'm nervous, it's gonna happen anyway.
It's gonna happen.
I have like actively thought about that though. Like when I'm deep in conversation with somebody, like, okay, don't say this because it could be helpful, but again, it's not about you. So
right. Yeah.
I know I have to catch myself sometimes too.
Yeah.
Even if it like literally hurts my soul where I'm like, don't say it.
I know.
Exactly. You just have this really strange look on your face during the middle of a conversation. They're like, are you okay? I'm just neurodivergent, okay?
I'm just trying really hard not to say this, not make it about me.
You look like constipated or something.
Yes.
I'm trying really hard to keep the fart in. Just let me do it. Oh my gosh.
It's like when people talk about like my special interests, because I have very specific like special interests, and when people start talking about them, I will not stop talking. So there are some times where people bring them up in like casual conversation, and I have to consciously like tell myself, I'm like, they're not trying, like, you don't have to. It's not going to happen. Just relax, breathe. And I have to like talk myself out of trying to talk to them about it. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's okay. We'll grow up one day.
One day.
We are who we are, and that's okay.
Exactly.
I think we're pretty cool.
Sometimes.
I think so.
Sometimes. When our things stop freezing.
I mean,
that whole conversation, nobody froze one time, though. I will say, good job,
Yes.
that is true. Yay!
Yes.
Whatever poltergeist is going to let us talk for a minute, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about embarrassing things, we'll let them talk. If they talk about anything else, we're gonna just keep.
Yes,
Exactly.
They're like, as soon as she starts, we're gonna fuck it up. So I do have a story to tell you guys, but it's really short, which is probably good right now with how this is going.
For 20 minutes. Yeah.
I didn't intentionally get a short one, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, like we have to, I've never heard of this, but I don't know if y'all have, but I was like, we have to, put this out there because it's a cold case and it's really fucked up.
Great.
I don't know where I'd be finding these, y'all. Yeah.
So
this literally happened upon me when I was searching for a story.
Oh,
So again, it's really short. So, okay. Mr. Cruel. Y'all ever heard of him?
No.
Okay. So it's a nickname, right? It's a nickname for an unidentified serial child rapist from the 1980s, late 1980s and early 1990s. Mr. Cruel has never been identified, and they 3 confirmed attacks that they have done, and they're suspected of 1 murder. And all 4 of those are cold cases. They still don't know to this day. Police describe him as highly intelligent. He planned each attack, did surveillance on the victims and their families, so he picked them. He made sure to leave no forensic traces whatsoever, and kept his face covered at all times. So he wears they call it a I don't know how you say it, but it's basically like it's a ski mask. But he's like you can't tell who it is.
Right.
So okay, yeah. So he keeps his face covered. It leaves no traces whatsoever.
Just wild.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you wouldn't even know ethnicity or anything. Like, you would
nothing. August 22nd, 1987, there was a man wearing I'm just going to call it a ski mask. He broke into a family home at 4 a.m. with a knife and a handgun. Those were what he used. Tied the hands and feet of both of the parents, locked them in the closet, then tied the son to the bed, and he raped the 11-year-old daughter. And he had cut the phone lines when he did this. December 27, 1988, he broke into another family home through the back door at 5:20 a.m. and had the ski mask on and had a handgun. He bound and gagged the parents, and this time he demanded money. Grabbed their 10-year-old daughter, put tape over her eyes, and put a ball gag in her mouth, and abducted her. He released her 18 hours later at a high school.
Oh my God.
July 3rd, 1990, he broke into another family home, 11:30. He had a knife and a handgun, again, wearing the ski mask, tied and gagged the 13-year-old girl, put tape over her eyes, cut the phones, and he was looking for money. So he's searching for money. Drove her to another house, and this is really bad, but he molested her for 50 hours.
What? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm, before releasing her at a power substation in a suburb.
Horrific.
So he's in the suburbs. This is like
he's got to be.
Yeah.
He's got to live there.
Okay, so those were the 3 confirmed. And then this is the suspected, the crime that he was suspected of. So on April 13th, 1991, a man wearing a ski mask broke into a family home at 8:40. He had a knife. He abducted 13-year-old Carmine Chan, who went to the same school as one of the other victims. Oh, goodness. Her decomposed body with 3 gunshot wounds to the head was found a year later. So he killed this one.
Yeah.
Supposedly, because again,
Right.
suspected, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some detectives that are like, we don't know. We can't really say if this was him, if it wasn't. They just don't know. He said there's just not enough evidence to convict or to say whether it was him, or, or not.
Yeah.
Mr. Cruel is believed to have videotaped and taken still photographs of his attacks. Detectives believe he's still alive and that he will have kept these videos and photos and will still collect and probably maybe like swap with people child pornography.
So gross.
Yeah. They say he almost certainly will be collecting pornography through the internet and may communicate with children using chat lines. He really is very meticulous. He plans his crimes. In one case, he abducted a girl and told her he would release her in exactly 50 hours, which he did. He bathed his victims, and one victim described it as like a mother washing a baby.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna make them
fucking creepy.
That's gonna make them like terrified to bathe. Like it's not even gonna be just like all the like at that point. It's like every time I get in the shower, I'm gonna be triggered. Like I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hate him.
There's this girl on There's this person on TikTok that I came upon.
Disgusting.
And they were like previously had been waterboarded by a previous partner, I guess. Yes. And so do you know who that is? Yes. And so she like can't even wash her hair. Like it's a whole thing. Like, oh
yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah. In 2 cases, he took a second set of clothes from the girls' homes to dress them in before he freed them. I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know, like less evidence or something, I don't know. But
I don't know.
They knew everything to do to keep from getting caught.
It sounds like they're like treating them like dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not weird. Humans to this person. They're like dolls.
They're objects.
That's so
the MO is the same in each of the 3 attacks. The victim's statements were pretty similar. 2 of Mr. Cruel's victims were able to provide police details of the house where they had been kept. Both of them were leashed to a bed. The same 2 victims had told police that they heard planes landing, which led them to believe that it was a house near the airport.
Yeah.
And that's about all they know. There's a task force that was established in May 1991. They searched 30,000 homes, interviewed 20,000 suspects, and which cost about $3.8 million, apparently. So they had a $300,000 reward offered by the police. There was a reward poster that was hung everywhere, but it literally looks like, someone in a ski mask. Like there's not much to it. Let's see. December 14th, 2010, police announced the Apollo task force had been established. This is a new task force who is going to review everything from the previous task force investigation and see if they had any new leads. They closed this in June of 2013 after they have nothing. Between all the evidence that the previous task force had and they have nothing. So, on April 13th, 2016, which is the 25th anniversary of Carmine Shan's murder, the police increased the reward for information to $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
And still nothing.
No one saw a car. No one saw like a man.
I mean, I feel like the people that would be able to give any information are some sketchy ass people in the first place, because they said that he's still going to be online, and most likely the people that he's like interacting with are not good people. And so like, I don't think they're going to be able to get information that way.
Yeah.
I feel like they had to they all had to have known this person in some way, somehow, because he knew, like this one just had parents, this one had a brother, this one, and so maybe I'm like, is it a teacher? Is it like
that's exactly
like
what I
a
was thinking.
soccer coach or like a baseball coach or like somebody that like all of them would have had to deal with, and he would like know somewhat about their family and life.
At the same time, he was like, even in like the late 80s, I don't know how much the general public knew about like forensics and stuff in the late 80s, but like it wasn't where it is now. And the fact that he was able to like literally know evidence between three, and it wasn't just like him picking them up, it was him entering the home, grabbing them, taking them somewhere else, and then releasing them, and there's still no evidence. Someone has to know something.
Yeah.
You have to.
There's something missing somewhere.
Isn't that creepy?
So
it's literally nothing.
But why would they put that?
Why I'm not even meaning to laugh, but I'm like, what? Literally, what?
Look out for a man
like, that looks like my Uncle Jerry. Like,
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Like people in Chicago in the winter are like just can't go outside. Like I just I don't know. That my first thought was that it's it's somebody that the police are like close to. Like it's either someone super high up, or it's a cop, or it's like one of their teachers, or like something. Like someone has to. I don't know how much the general public, I already said this, I don't know how much they know about forensics and stuff, but like, I don't feel like people would know that stuff or be able to prevent that unless it was like an obsession and that's all that he ever thought about. Which could be possible.
Well, in those cases where it's like, they don't know who did it, and then you'd have all these people calling and being like, my dad just died and I was going through his closet and he's got all these pictures of naked women, but I can't see their faces. Or like, my grandpa just died and I just went through it. And it's like, that's going to be like him. They're going to be like, my dad just died and I was going through his things and I found all of this.
Right.
And that's if you decide to share that, because I know that would be really hard, that you'd be sad your dad died and then you find out that he's some like crazed rapist. Like that would be really hard to deal with.
Yeah. And he absolutely had to have known the families. He had to have
he had to, right?
Yeah.
Because like, how did you not bring enough stuff? Because it kind of sounded like he brought his own stuff, right? Like ropes and stuff to tie them up. How would you know to bring the right things if you didn't know how many family members they had? Unless you're bringing a big old duffel bag with you every time full of stuff, like
but at the same time,
very well could have been, but
like BTK, he like stalked people for like a while beforehand, so he knew like the maps of their houses and stuff like that. So
and he did surveillance on them.
I was about to say, I think he was like a surveillance person.
Yeah.
So what kind of job has that time to be able to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like teacher or something, like
Mhm.
somebody
Right.
where they could have like talked to them or like whatever,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be so suspicious. I don't know.
Listen, I don't
I
know,
hate
but
it though. It's so sad.
I've never heard of that. And I was
No,
like,
me neither.
that has to be told anywhere and everywhere because that's just terrifying.
Well,
I
and
mean,
the poor
yeah.
girls, because they have to live their lives now terrified that he's
Exactly.
still out there or going to
Yeah.
come back. I keep saying he, I'm just saying
I know,
he,
me too.
she or
And
whatever, but I
I
feel
would
like
assume, like, I
I would
don't know.
assume a he.
I think
But,
I think
I
they're
mean,
assuming that he was a male, and I think I mean, he left those
I'm
other
sure
girls
they know
alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
if they were
yeah,
raped, if it was,
Right.
yeah.
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 But
Uh,
it's horrible.
like he was treating them like dolls, which is the
Mm-hmm.
really, really fucked up part. Like super
Mm-hmm.
fucking creepy part about it. No.
Or like his kids, which is even worse.
Yes,
Right.
which is like something else. I guess I've watched too many like horror movies, but like maybe he had a kid at some point and like lost the
Yeah,
kid.
like some sort of
Something.
like tragic something. Yeah.
Who
Oh
knows?
God, I hate it. It's horrific.
Listen, I don't know.
Cry, poor kids.
But there were two full task forces.
Two. One in
Jeez.
one in the 90s and then
Right.
one later on.
Yeah.
It's like,
And no one
Didn't
came
even
up
think.
with anything.
no.
Even
I'm
with
thinking,
the two girls. Like, I
yeah,
just don't I
like,
don't know.
I feel like, they think he's on the internet. Like, are you go undercover? They do that all the time.
Right.
Go undercover,
I'm sure they
and like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure they are at some like stuff that we're not seeing, but at the same time, like it doesn't seem simple, but it also seems like there's lots of things that could be
Yeah.
done here.
Yeah. They just don't have a lot to go on,
Right. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Did they all live? I wonder if they all lived in the same like
Neighborhood.
yeah. Because I'm wondering if maybe it was like a neighbor.
Yeah.
Or I keep saying teacher just because I have it in my head, but I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a very like if I go on my kid's school, I can see exactly what area would go to this specific school,
Yeah.
and
Right. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's like that. I mean, you said they interviewed like 20 people, right?
20, no, like thousands of people.
20,000.
Oh, 1,000,
Yeah.
20,000.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel
Which
like
is
one of them probably was it, and they missed
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, even when they interview that many people, like there has to be one person that they're like, that guy down the street, he's just a little weird, like I don't think anything's wrong, but like something would have come up, I feel like.
Mhm.
But then again, we have stuff like the Zodiac murders, which like crazy shit happened and they still have no clue who that could have been either.
Mhm.
So I guess it was just that time period because there was so much going on that I don't know. That's
It's
so
crazy.
wild to me.
I know I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about like serial killers from the 70s and the 80s and like you could not do what they did and get away with it anymore.
Yeah.
Just because they were so, they would just drive around at night and just pick people up and like and like everything is videoed now or tracked or what, like you just can't do the same.
Yeah, there's no
things,
doing that
good.
anymore.
It is good, but it's so wild to me. Like the footprint thing from Night Stalker. Like that was like the late 80s. That was like 80, 86, 87, something like that. So like that's crazy to me that just then they were able to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And the freaking mayor spoiled it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
like going on TV.
Yeah, I'm sure she was just trying to help keep people
calm,
like, but then she done ruined it.
That, how people talk about their Roman Empire? that is one of my, like, it's got to be one of my Roman empires, because I think about that a lot. Like, the people in the street apprehending him. Like, that specifically is something that I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
Because, in the thing where they have the chopper video of it,
yes.
It's crazy. And you can tell he's scared. Like, the way that he's, like, running and, like, trying to get away from people.
Yeah.
You could tell he was scared.
Yeah. It's so
But you could also tell those people were like, I'm done being afraid of you. Like, I'm done.
Exactly.
Like, we are getting this monster.
Yeah. That's wild. I'm sure they would have said something, but, like, the families had to have been interconnected somehow.
Yeah. If they were, I don't know. I mean, I know it said 2 of the girls went to the same school, but that's about it.
Right. So if only 2 of them went to the same school, it had to have been like a neighborhood. Like, I'm trying to think, because we moved here like in the early 90s. So I don't know. I'm trying to, like, put myself in that kind of place, but it's not. You can't.
No.
Can't.
No.
It's so.
Nope.
I hate it. I hate it.
I'm
going to be thinking about this.
Like, it just,
I know.
It's
Yeah.
like, not that it's any better to hurt an adult or anything, but
Right.
I'm like, it's just
These
that
kids
they're
helpless.
Yes.
So, like, I just, I hate it. And especially if it was somebody that, like, I know it's not because he broke in and kidnapped them, but I'm like, it's worse when it's like somebody that you trusted, and like, like, you knew them or whatever. Which maybe it couldn't have been a teacher, because I feel like if within a 50-hour period, he had to have talked and said something, and so they would have been like, oh, that's Mr. blah, blah, blah's voice or whatever. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not someone they knew, like, personally. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe like a neighbor of everybody. You kind of, like, see him around, but know him.
Yeah, I was thinking like plumber, like someone that could.
Oh, yeah. Like
BTK is what keeps coming.
Yeah, something that can easily get in.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? And who knows if we'll ever know?
Which is wild, but, like, I'm sure in, like, when we're like 60 years old, they're gonna be like, we found him.
Yeah.
Like,
he's been dead for 20 years, but we found him.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the Golden State Killer.
Oh yeah. That's ridiculous.
That was a crazy story too. We have so many stories that we just came up with.
Exactly.
Write them down. So that way when it's my turn, I'm not going, wait, what story did I want to do again?
Yeah.
I wanted to do.
Right.
I like keep thinking about it. I'm trying to figure this out.
We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna come over to my house and I'll have, like, red string and pictures and stuff all over the wall.
Pictures of, like, Kermit the Frog and, like,
it's like all right, so I've narrowed it down. It's either Winnie the Pooh or Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
And then I'm gonna go, there's the phone number to my therapist.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Sage, we haven't seen you in like a month. You need to come over now.
I've got it solved.
I figured it out. That's I hate it. Because I do think about these a lot. Like the cold case ones. It's so wild to me.
So
and there's not like a satisfying end to the story to like be told.
No.
So it's like,
or you don't have to worry about somebody else, it happening to somebody else, or like the person that did it got what they deserved, and it's hard.
Yeah, like we were saying, like true life is truly stranger than fiction. It's so wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Roberto was trying to say something like that the other day, and he was like, we have this saying, and he was trying to tell me, and when I finally got it, it was truth is stranger than fiction. And I was we like had like a a celebration in the shop because we were sitting around. There was 3 of us, and we were sitting around for about 5 minutes. It had literally nothing to do with the story, but he was intent on telling me this phrase. So we finally got. It was crazy. That had nothing to do with anything, but yeah.
I watched this. I don't know why, but the like random things that keep popping up on your TikTok. Well, she's this. I think she's Brazilian, and she moved here, and she's teaching herself how to speak English. And she said that what made her decide to learn English, which she was like, I would try, but she goes, I went to my kids' school and they were giving awards, and I have no clue what the teacher said about them. And I couldn't understand. I don't know why they got the award. And she's like, and then at that point I was like, I have to learn English. Like, I have to. Anyway, so she'll like get on there and she'll like go, like she'll like talk in English, and she's like, tell me if I'm saying this wrong, or like correct me. And then she'll go on there and she'll be like, okay, so she's like, in Brazil we'll say like, whew, that was hard, or like whatever. And she's like, what do you say? Like, do y'all have the same thing that you say for that? And then sometimes she'll like record herself like at a drive-thru ordering food and stuff. And I don't know why, but I just get so happy for her because she'll like say it, and then she literally gets so giddy of like, oh my god, I did it.
He gets really excited when like sayings that he says a lot, or like people in Cuba say a lot, if he can now translate it into English, because a lot of times they don't like translate exactly.
Well.
It's something completely different. So it takes us a minute, but we can normally do it. But he gets really excited about it. It's really cool.
That's sweet.
It was really cool. I was speaking of TikTok. This episode has to be named "We Watch Too Much TikTok." There's this comedian that like. Apparently people with accents like to come to his sets for some reason, but there's this woman, I think she was like Colombian or something, but she had a very strong accent, and her husband was making fun of the way that she says olives, and the comedian was like, you have to tell us how you say this, and she was like so embarrassed. She says all of us. All of us. So and he like goes off for a minute, and he comes back, and he was like, you know who loves the way that you say olives? And he goes, all of us. It was the cutest thing I have ever seen. It was so adorable.
That's funny.
Because normally comedians will like, they'll make fun of you, and like you're gonna be like, oh, but he was cheering her on. It was really cute. It was awesome.
English is a really hard language to learn. And like, I couldn't imagine having to move to a new country and learn a whole new language. So like, I'm like always like really excited for people when they're like, I did it. And I'm like, cool, because I can barely speak English. Like, yay.
Yeah, apparently there are a lot of things that we say that sound very similar, and they just like completely mix them up, which I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, like I've heard that from people that have had to learn English. They're like, this is one of the hardest languages I've ever learned, which is wild to me. But
crazy.
Well, because it's our first language.
Exactly. So. It's the only language that I know. So.
Well, me too. Yeah.
I had 2 years of Spanish 1. I was also a salsa dancer.
I really wish I did. I took sign language, and now I'm like, I wish I would have taken Spanish, just because I feel like it would have been more useful. But
almost the day of my life, I think back to Spanish, like getting kicked out of Spanish class so many times, and I'm like, I really should have paid more attention. I really should have paid more attention because I definitely could have used that. Like, out of everything that I like paid attention to in school, Spanish is the one that I really should have paid attention to.
Yeah, it's so helpful.
Yeah. And I can like, I'll listen to them talk to clients in Spanish, and I can kind of like butt in and like answer things, but I have no idea. I can't speak it. He makes fun of me because I have a really Southern accent when I say Spanish things. I'm not going to say anything, but I do it like comedically now, and he like acts like it hurts his ears. So I don't know if it like legitimately bugs him or not. So I just stopped for a little while, and he was like, "Yeah, just don't say that around my wife." And I'm like, "Is she gonna like hit me or something?" Like, what? I don't know. But yeah,
just get highly offended.
Yeah, I don't speak Spanish around him. I don't speak Spanish in general, but like the couple of words that I say, like if I just say adios, he's like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "Do you want me to practice or not? Do you want me?"
Adios. Yeah,
exactly. And then I pulled out the Donde está la biblioteca, and he goes, "What?" he didn't know. He didn't think I was speaking like any language. He didn't know what I was saying.
Like, what are you even saying?
Exactly. It was wild.
I always feel like if I try to say something in Spanish, like with the accents and stuff, I feel like I'm being like rude. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
like making fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm not. I'm like genuinely trying to say it correctly, but then I feel like I'm like being rude.
Yeah. And then I watch like Brittany Broski when she speaks Spanish. I'm like, that's totally what I sound like. And then I got told by a Cuban that like you can't say that. It's very like that comedian that's like, oh no, it's fine, our mouths are just different. Like that kind of that's
well,
he was trying to be nice.
There's a few Asian languages that are almost like singing. And so it's like a lot of Americans can't even learn that language because you just couldn't.
Right.
You literally could not like move your mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, it's like some of the like tribes. Like African tribes. It's something called like false vocal cords. It's what like metal singers use, and they do that like they like have more than one noise at a time. And like not everybody knows how to do that, but that's just how they grew up and that's how they know how to speak.
Yeah, they are.
It's so cool to listen to. It's so cool to listen to. It's wild.
It's so cool.
Crazy. All right. Enough of us watching TikTok. Maybe we should do an episode one day where we just talk about TikTok. We just watch
all the videos we see on TikTok.
Just all of our saves.
Oh, watch this one. This one's hilarious. But mine are very offensive. So
I saw one today that was like, there was this guy, I almost sent it to you. I don't know why I didn't. And he's talking about the ocean, and he's like, y'all can't tell me that megalodon that's what he called it. He said, y'all can't tell me that he is extinct. He's like, there's no way. He said only 5% of the ocean has been discovered. You can't tell me that there's not like dinosaurs down there and flying birds. He's like, that doesn't make sense, but
it's flying birds.
Oh my god, dude! At this point, I will believe anything is under there.
Yes, and the comments were like, mermaids are real. You can't tell me mermaids aren't real.
Yeah.
The comments were all over it. I was like, these are our people.
There's apparently a part of the ocean that it's so like dark and dense that scientists were like, we don't know what this is, but they took like a piece of it, and it's fish. It's individual organisms that are fish. And they're so densely packed in there that they make over like 60% of all the fish in the entire ocean. And it's this one spot in the middle of the ocean. The ocean is so weird and so terrifying. There's a phobia. There's a phobia about like, I guess it's mechanical things like under the ocean, like seeing shipwrecks and stuff like that. And there's this girl that has it. Yeah. There's this girl that has it like really bad, and she shows pictures of things that like trigger her. And there's one, and it like, I almost threw my phone. It like jump scared me. It was so bad, but it's like, it's a slide and it looks like an indoor pool. And there's like a regular like pool, but the pool starts to slope down, and it's darkness. It's black
No.
in the bottom of it. So it's like a never ending like pit in the bottom of the pool. Can you imagine coming out of like a slide at like Hurricane Harbor and being disoriented in that little pool and then falling down? Oh my God. It's so bad. And there's one that it's like
even like watching like the Little Mermaid and she's like swimming around through the ship and I'm like, get the out of the ship.
Yeah.
Like you do not know what's hiding in there.
Yeah.
You do not understand.
Yeah.
And what if you ran into a dead body? You're
Right.
gonna scream. Please get out of the ship. Like I can't. Like I can't.
See,
and
like
I hate it because I got these TikToks too of like people that try to like they like pull out cars and stuffs out of lakes.
Oh
yes.
And I'm like, what if there's a dead body? And then literally the next one I watched, they're dead. I'm like, I see. No, I
told you.
It's always stuff out of water.
It's always those weird things, but like her video in particular, I'll have to see if I saved it or something. But I like almost threw my phone, but then I picked up my phone again and watched the rest of it because there was more that she was going to talk about, and there was enough like it's really weird things that trigger me like that. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about like the planets facing each other when they like orbit, and there was a visual of like Mercury going around, and it would like my stomach dropped. Like I could feel like I was in space because he was talking about like the emptiness of space. And I was like I can't do this.
Feel like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the void of open water and like the void of space. Like either one is the most terrifying thing.
I've tried to like simplify it before, but I don't think there's like it's like the unknown kind of, but it's really it's not just the unknown that's like terrifying. It's very specifically the ocean.
Well, it's like it's one of those like you know, you can almost make yourself feel safe if you're like in the like in a like a what is the word I'm like a forest, right? Because you have all these things that you can touch and like if you're in the ocean, you're literally just out.
Yes.
Or like if you're in space, you're just out. Like there's no safety anywhere. Whatever.
Have you seen the free divers?
Ew.
That is
stop it. And I also hate the pictures of like like the statues that end up underwater. Those gigantic statues.
My
literally
God.
make me wanna.
Yes.
Like whole freaking cities under there, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
I hate it so much.
Yeah. That one that I was talking about with the slide, there was a picture of a T-Rex, like a skeleton, and it was like coming out from like this cave under there, and I was like, I don't understand what it is about that specifically that really like just boots me out. I just can't. I can't do it. I hate it. It's so bad.
Great. And I'm gonna
but I will talk about it all the time. And I will watch the videos like crazy. Yeah. There's this one free diver that I follow, and I watch him all the time. And he's like, I think I saw something down there. Did you guys see anything? And I'm like intently like in that video. And I'm like, no, there was totally something over here. There's totally something.
I thought you were about to say there's a toe.
There's a toe.
There's totally a toe, right?
Did you not notice the toe? Like,
oh my God.
Freediving is
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Sure. If they would like to listen to more of our sibling antics, where can they find us?
We are on Facebook, Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. We are on Instagram at 3SWIB Podcast. Go on there, like, comment, do all the things. Please let us know any recommendations you have for stories. Please rate and review. It's super, super helpful for us. And we are on YouTube, so you can go see our faces, our fun little weird faces that we all like to make at each other.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right. Well, that's what happens when three siblings walk into a bar.